Yeah, I'd like to see how teams adapt to Runway, whether they use her or they have to play against her in Respawn, which was the number one game mode people were thinking Runway would be viable in. But now we're starting to see her pick up in Demolition play as well. Let's get to the match. Who are we watching first here today? It's Tyson Mentality versus SMCK. Wow.
Mhm.
Tyson Mentality is a team that we saw last week. Rome was raving about Muscle Freak, one of the players on that team. P Crew, F22 on that squad as well. They really impressed me last week. But the one who impressed me the most, I mean, Muscle Freak, when they played their Respawn, he used Mac, something we normally don't see. He brought out the LMG as well, which, again, is something I always say, go with the objection. You know, we've seen more success with the objection than we have that LMG. I think it's kind of like a default mode in everyone's mindset when they pick Mac. They're saying, oh, he's the only one with this LMG. I got to pick it. You know, if you pick Mac, you got to pick his signature weapon. But now that can change because the objection's biggest problem or its biggest drawback, every player has told me about it, has said you can't upgrade the clip. It's only 30 in the clip. Now you can change it to another SMG, which can increase the amount of ammo you put in there. 24S, D40C, SLC, if that's your mojo, right? You can use a different SMG with Mac now, or you can bring in another LMG. There's only one other one on the game currently, and that's Anvil's LMG, which I think is still just a tad bit better overall compared to Mac's LMG, even though it did get a slight buff about 2 patches ago. So, you know, he really impressed me with that. Another player, F22, I mean, he was slaying in their Demolition. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Tyson Mentality can come with against SMCK. But SMCK, they've got some hard hitters on that team as well. One that really stands out when you look at this roster is Who's That? And speaking of Who's That, where are we going? Because that is going to be a big topic of discussion when it comes to these teams. Best of 3 today in the qualifiers to remind everyone out there. We're going to lockdown for game number 1 on Demolition. Favelas will be king of the hill. And if needed, Fawn, game 3, Canals, Demolition. That's always an interesting one.
I agree with that as well. I mean, Lockdown is personally for me like one of my favorite Demolition maps to be able to witness. I think it is a genuinely enjoyable map. I think putting pressure on either A or B bomb site makes it a lot more interesting, because if you're attacking one site, then you have to worry about the aspect of mid doors being a thing, right? You have to open it, hit the switch, make sure that you can flood in through mid. Obviously, having mid control is going to be a huge factor there. You have to worry about making sure that you have that tower on lock. If you don't have that, your mid control is lacking. You have a lot more situations where you can just fight around the tower if need be, but having that high point, having more intel is always something that I've seen before in the past. I've seen Talon here, I've seen Seeker here. Intel is always really important because of how, even though this map is wide, the bomb sites are very close knit. So when you start a fight, it's going to be important to have as much information as possible going into that.
All right, so we have our bans coming in as well. And I like how you touched on intel and the way people attack on these maps, because when you look at those 2 Demolitions, Lockdown pretty attack-sided, Canals pretty defender-sided, intel very heavy on Canals, especially with the glitch as well. But when you look at a map like Lockdown, you tend to see people who use Seeker a lot for the intel, and then they bring out Talons because of his flashbangs as well. So because they need that flashbang mentality both on offense and defense, he ends up coming out as well. And then you see some chalks on offense. If you don't bring out the flashbang Talon, you can have the flashbang chalk as well. Weapon mastery, you can master your throwables and your devices and gadgets, but you cannot swap those around. So those are permanent on each character, each rogue, but you can change those weapons around. The bans that are coming through, Tyson Mentality will ban out Ronin, and SMCK, they ban Runway. So immediately, starting off today's broadcast, game number 1, we just talked about her, Runway. She's getting banned, so we won't see her just yet.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart choice, not only just for the ability and the versatility that she brings to a team, but I think it's important to get rid of Runway because you may not be all that accustomed to fighting her yet, right? Like you may not be all that accustomed to quite understanding what it takes to go up against her. There may be some things that people know that other teams may not know as much of, and it just depends. And so why even risk that? Why would you let that character in? It makes a lot more sense to be able to ban that, not only just for her ability, but make sure that you don't even keep her in the game. That's what we saw when Switchblade was released. A lot more bans centered around her, not just because of her unfamiliarity, but more so because of the fact of her ability. You want to lock that down. New characters aren't as positively seen because in a competitive environment, because you need more time to be able to understand them.
All right, there you have it. Now we're going to be jumping into game number 1. It's Tyson Mentality versus SMCK here in game number 1 of our quarterfinals matchup in qualifier number 2 of our September $10,000 Roco, brought to you by CheckmateGaming.com. My name is Real Blue. I'm joined, of course, with Fawn, and I am excited to see what is happening with these compositions. And, you know, a lot of people always say, nerf this, nerf that, nerf this, nerf that, as soon as a character comes out. You know, oh, my goodness, why is this character so strong when they come out? I mean, look at Switchblade. It's got GA'd for this tournament, not available for use in the Road Cup for September. Now we have Runway. There's people asking for the same treatment towards Runway. And that is something, you know, I kind of get it, right? A lot of teams saying, oh, it's really OP. But then again, it's fresh, it's new, it changes the meta, it makes you have to practice, makes you have to change your strategies, makes you have to think with these new ways of playing the game. And also, it gives us something to do, because if a Switchblade and Runway are banned out, or they're picked, or they're not picked, then we get a lot more opportunity to see some rogues that we don't normally see, right? Because they got banned out most of the time, like Fixer, like Glitch, you know, things like that.
Right, exactly. And I mean, that's what's important at the end of the day, right? It's a matter of that understanding and the lack thereof, right? I mean, like, that's what you were talking about. That's what I was talking about, the unfamiliarity. And sometimes, and well, not even sometimes, more than likely, that's enough to warrant a lot of people banning those characters, banning characters like Switchblade when we first saw her, like I mentioned before, banning characters like Runway. You don't want to deal with them. You don't quite know them that well. And they're also really strong. So it eliminates a lot of risk.
Yeah, I don't know if we should keep banning them, though. However, I mean, you got to learn to adapt. That's something the successful teams are able to learn very early on, as well as shots are being fired from the side of Luggage onto the Saint there from the defensive side. Speaking of Saint, we've got one on each side. Bomb has been planted very quickly as well on that A site. Remember, it's pistol, so if you elect to go this way, it's, I think, a little bit easier. A lot of teams tend to go towards this A site when it's the pistol round, especially when they have a B site kind of composition very heavily, just so they can try and get an early plant. Shots coming through. Who's that? Does take out Muscle Freak easily with that pistol in hand. He's sitting behind Luggage. The Saint drone will be successful, and the revive comes out. A lot of intel being shared with the Dallas on that side as well. Shots coming through. Soka finds one. Who's that with another down? Who's that with a second down? Saint drone comes through on the attackers. He's got no more ammo in the clip, but luckily his teammate helps him out.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, that is, I was just about to mention it, but the round's already over. We already saw it happen. Fixer post plant is so unbelievably strong, man. I mean, like, that is, they got that bomb down quick. You already have Anvil to help with your replant composition. You have Anvil to be able to help set up that bomb plant a lot easier. And then you have Fixer. That's literally what we saw happen. That smoke got dropped. Somebody was playing a little bit more of a forward angle. You saw Saint end up getting down thanks to Who's That? And that's because of the thermal goggles. He can see through those smokes. He can apply that kind of pressure. You can't peek as openly, even though you can't see through the smoke, Fixer can. And that enables an extra layer that you have to push past when you're worrying about defusing the bomb.
Yeah, I think play of that round has to go towards Saint as well. Tahola getting that revive on the Anvil. Anvil was the one who helped out. Who's that? Bomb being planted already, but the glitch on defense proving worthy here, as he will take out that shield. So now they have to try and get towards this bomb. Notice, by the way, that the Anvil's on the attacking side, and there is no Anvil on the defense, so they don't even have the ability to get the shield down. And look at that, a fully mastered Mamba at the hands of Who's That? He's playing Fixer, and he's got a Mamba in his hands. The Deadeye gets nerfed, and he pulls out a Mamba. This is what I'm talking about. We don't get to see Runway right away. but we get to see weapon mastery at its finest coming out.
Whew.
Quantic having to back up. F22 looks like he wants to fly his way down there, but he is hesitant. Fixer at the hands of who's that, playing so deadly in luggage, throws out the smoke. He will pop the goggles. Remember, that is only 6 seconds long. Now, Muscle Freak was sitting in the top of tower. He jumps down. Soka also with a Mambo. Are we going to see a full team of Mambas here? It's gold in the kill feed, which means it's fully mastered, and he's using it as well.
Man, dude. I really enjoy seeing the glitch being brought out here because of the compatibility that Anvil has with almost every single team in the game, right? There was a time where we saw Anvil getting banned out more consistently than we would see Switchblade, more consistently than we had seen Ronin. And that's one of the biggest things that you have to be concerned about. You see that Anvil gets brought out, and glitch is the counterplay. Because you hack Anvil, you break that shield instantly. There is no way, shape, or form that he can put up that shield anymore. And that's a huge counter. They're the number one counter to how Anvil can actually play. And it's actually pretty crazy to be able to see that happen. But at the end of the day, you still have to worry about the fixer, right? The fixer is the thing that throws out the smoke. He's playing post-plant. And you already mentioned the weapon mastery before, Blue. It's the fact of having that Mamba. That Mamba is strong, and it's tearing people apart.
Yeah, Muscle Freak also using the HRM. That's fully mastered. As you can see, it's gold. I think Muscle Freak actually is on Dallas, so he's using the, what I guess you could call the natural AR that he first got back in the day. Soka with another down onto P-Crew. The revive coming through by hand from Muscle Freak. I like what Muscle Freak did, by the way. He, the patch before our last, so 2 patches ago, they take this gun out of Dallas's hand, give him the Riptide. With weapon mastery, he puts it right back on Dallas, says, this is Dallas's original AR. I'm going to come out like I'm the original Dallas. Soka finally goes down. F22 is the one who gets credit for that. He's still using the Deadeye. And it's interesting, right? Because you can see he's playing Talon. He has the Deadeye. Deadeye gets nerfed in this recent patch that came with the weapon mastery. And you see Fixer and Talon. Ooh, nice shots coming out from F22 there. But you see Fixer and Talon on the attacking team right now for SMCK. They both have DMRs in their kits. They're the Deadeye. Yeah. Both of them are equipped with the Deadeye in their original DMR on their kit. They swap it out for the Mamba. Oh my goodness, those were actually a lot nicer and cleaner that second time around.
Yeah, it's the matter of the accuracy, the matter of tracking, having that presence of mind to not panic, but obviously work with your teammate. Make sure you apply those suppressing fire shots. He peeks again, you pop him, just like Talon popped the last remaining member on the opposite team there on SMCK. Here we are, another round 4 here. As things are kicking off already. Anvil has the bomb, throws out a C4 and manages to down Quanatic, gets the kill as well. They use the Ensign, try and force him back, but that doesn't even matter. They're fighting against a lot of different people. Muscle Freak, P-Crew, and both of them go down. This is looking like a pretty already done round.
Yeah, only one member standing for the defense here. It is F22, and he is now trying to jet his way out of Dodge here as he is getting chased down. If he can find one, he'll have some good money. There's one with the pistol in his hand, but in his back, the Mamba strikes again. And, I also love the fact that no one's using the Hydra. That's the new weapon that just came into the game. That came with Runway. It's in her kit. Runway gets banned out, but the Hydra, this assault rifle, is absolutely insane, Fawn. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to play with this yet. Patch has only been out for 6 days now. I believe it came out last week, Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere around there. So, under a week there. But, oh, my goodness, that assault rifle smacks. Makes a little bit of an annoying noise when you're using it, though, like a high-pitched scream in the background of a thudding noise. But, man, when it screams, I'm saying it screams, right? No one mastered that, it seems, because they don't opt to use it just yet. But there's a lot of Mambas out there. I always talked about the Mamba being, one of the top 3, if not the best DMR in the game. And now we can clearly see people are opting to use it a lot more now that Deadeye is getting that nerf. Nice incend on that wall. just to stop them from planting the bomb. Quanatic and some help from P Crew. They take out Nemes. One member fully taken out. That's the Anvil. The glitch also took out the shield, which means they have no way to get that bomb planted until I realized that it already has been planted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, man, we all make mistakes. C4 gets tossed out and traded, but who's that? Is the one that goes down first. You toss out 2 different C4s and only one of them lands. That's Fixer already put into the dirt. The clock is ticking on the bomb, though. They have to push. They are playing post-plant, and they are playing it well. If they have to, they're trying to stall long enough, but I don't even know. Somebody has to go back to defuse the bomb, and I believe McCrew's already on the side of that. He manages to get several down. They push 1 versus, they push 2 people with 4 remaining, and they still end up losing that round. My goodness, man. That's another round.
Man, Soka,
for Blue Team.
He is doing so much work here. He had a double with a delayed triple the round before that. Now he comes here and he gets another triple kill using the Mamba 1, 2, and then the C4 to get that third. P Crew ends up going down to him as well. That's a full 4K for Soka. Oh my goodness. That man. Oh. We've seen Soka a bunch of times. We've heard of him before. We've seen him play in these tournaments here. He just hasn't been able to find teams that could play on the same level as him. And right now, he looks like he's on a completely different level than his 3 teammates, but they're able to complement him very well here as they lead 4-1. 2 rounds left here in this first half of Lockdown in game number 1, and they are in the driver's seat, it seems. The shield goes down, so P Crew with the hack. But look at the dive from Soka, and he's getting shot from P Crew's team. So he just goes towards the wall. Who's that? Finds one. Quanatic
wow, dude.
Answering the call on Soka. But it's too late.
That's
Nemes.
so crazy.
He gets picked up. Tahola, 4 revives, and they've all been huge.
Yeah, that's actually what I was about to mention. Like, he swings the corner, swings around, right? Because Talon is already holding that angle. Nemes was getting picked up the whole time. Sure, he downs Talon, but he literally gets rezzed behind 2 people, kills 1, the other one rushes in, and the rest of the team is able to focus fire on that 1 remaining individual on the side of Tyson mentality. That is unfortunate. Literally, I mean, he was getting rezzed right behind him. And he was able to get up and make sure that he was able to get that kill once again, clutch that round. And here they are, 5 points to 1.
As you can see, they are going back towards the A site. They kind of faked B, kind of went towards mid as well. Glitch, however, playing very far up with that iPad in his hand. Bomb has been planted already as well. There was no incen on that half wall this time around. You can see Soka holding this angle. If P Crew tries to come through this, he is on the radar dart. Might have taken it out with that hack there. Nothing available except for the gun in Soka's hands for the time being. And now P Crew, he's getting pinched by 2 members. Muscle Freak's going to try and come and help him. Soka takes out P Crew. He is resible. So is Soka. Quanatic takes out Who's That. They finished off Soka now. Muscle Freak snaps the fingers once again. F22 falling super low. Quanatic takes out Who's That to complete that kill. Nemes goes down. Bomb on its last leg, and they touch it. He just got shot, but it won't be enough. Quanatic was there in time to help him and take out Tahola in heaven. Oh my goodness, what a retake this time around.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful way to retake the bomb site. I enjoyed watching them play that as well. Their positioning was pretty passive for the most part, but they were slowly inching themselves forward. We saw Crew end up getting pincered by 2 different people, right? I mean, that's going to happen when you're getting pushed by 2, but you had somebody waiting in the mist behind Crew. You have somebody, a teammate, waiting behind him in case he does get pincered, gets pushed out. Talon tries to move in to get the kill. He gets clapped immediately. Saint moves in to once again try and clean up what's already remaining, and they end up getting that kill as well. It's a matter of them snowballing. They sort of made that their pace when the last 7 rounds have been in SMCK's court. The ball's been in their court. They've been having to play at their pace on the side of Tyson mentality for 7 rounds now. But that last round, that 7th round, was definitely the difference maker there. If they can control the pace of the game from this point on, I definitely can see Tyson mentality win. I think that's what's so interesting as well. It is a matter of that understanding, to see that these things are evolving, that these teams are adapting, not only as the weeks go on, but as the matches go on. It's that quick adaptation that determines how well each team plays from round to round, whether you're in quarterfinals like we are right now, semifinals, or even grand finals.
Yeah, this time they elect to go back towards that B site very heavily this time around, however. P-Crew F22. It is pistol round. It's 5-2 now in this second half. SMCK, they're getting up in their face on the defensive side. Soka and P-Crew go down. Acentro's coming on to P-Crew, so that will get him back up. Lancer finally goes down and gets finished off this time with a C4. Won't be able to live through that one. Didn't have a drone available as they already used it as well. Talon goes down on the side of SMCK now. Who's that stuck in kind of a pickle behind middle console. This is where you don't want to be. This is a tough spot to get out of. If he tries to run, even with a dodge roll, they're going to have some nice damage if they're able to hit those shots. And that's why you have to play a lot more safe behind this. And he waits for it. He's got his anvil to his right on his shoulder towards mid on pillar as well. They're able to take out one. And when they tried to make that advance, Muscle Freak goes down. He tried to get out of there with just 1 bar of health. C4 comes out and it gets 1.
Wow, man. What a crossfire, man. I think that was so well played by SMCK right there. They had one setting up by mid, like you mentioned. We saw Anvil already sitting behind his barricade. And then you had Fixer playing by console. And in any situation where they try and push out, they felt pressure in that situation. Why? Because they had to create space. They had to push in because of where the bomb was dropped. They get the bomb, cool.
Oh, look at this.
Maybe they can play a bit of a rotation game from that point on, but even still, that was just phenomenally played on the side of SMCK. I love that crossfire they had set up, and because of Anvil, they weren't able to push past that.
And now look at this. Who's that coming out on the Fixer on the defensive side with a Deadeye in his hand? So hasn't even... maybe he doesn't have the Mamba mastered and he picked up Soka's if Soka died. I can't even recall if that could have been the case. But he's got a Deadeye in his hand this time around. Doesn't elect to go with that Mamba if it's available for him. Nemes finds Muscle Freak. Tahola was the trade, but Tahola is still resible. Now Nemes goes down as well. I think last round the problem was, yeah, that crossfire was deadly, but at the same time, everyone from the side of Tyson mentality kind of got stuck over here in this corner. C4 takes out the bomb carrier. Quinotic crawling away. They will try and push this to finish that off, and it will be successful. Now who's that on the B site all alone? F22 is in front of him. F22, of course, playing Talon with that passive mag gloves, able to gain possession of the bomb even from a distance now. So you can grab items from further distance. A little bit of magnetic glove action coming out. Lancer's coming in. Quick and quiet has been popped. It's an even 2v2, so this is doable. Oh, he didn't take any shots onto Soka, and he even gave him up. F22 goes down, then tried to body block. Wasn't enough. P-Crew, was not there to help his teammate out, and he kind of gave his position easily away to the man in the back of console. Now he takes out one. What are you doing reloading with Lancer? Hit the dodge roll. Not only do you reposition and dodge shots, but you reload instantly. Misplay coming out from P-Crew twice that round. And they will be on game point now for SMCK.
Yeah, doesn't get the kill on the initial push, and once again, like you said, he hit that R key. No reason to. You should be hitting control if you're using the default bindings to be able to roll out of the way, make sure that that mag is already back, put into the clip, and that's the entire point of having that passive. That means you can fight a lot more frequently. Not utilizing that ends, and the round ended up being lost. I feel like there are slight mistakes that are being made on the side of Tyson mentality that are contributing into bigger ones, and that's showing in the score right now. 7-2 so far. SMCK obviously in the lead here, and Tyson mentality having to sort of find and take their momentum back, find some of the same things that they needed to have on those 2 rounds it was that they won.
Oh,
great
tried to
swing.
get the shield down to protect himself behind pillar, but it won't work out. I just see all gold in this kill feed, man. I see these mastery completely full on these weapons so they can do as much work and play as comfortably with any weapon on any character that they would like to play with. P-Crew does take out Soka now. They have control of the bomb site. This is the furthest they have successfully pushed into this B site here. It's only taken them 3 rounds on offense. F22 going back and forth here with Tahola, who is the last member standing. And as I say that, Fawn, he ends up getting limp.
It was the initial swing all onto Nemes right there, right? It was the initial swing, the instant to force him out. You had 3 people that swung him. Sure, one of them on the side of Tyson mentality got down, but they were immediately able to make sure that they traded out his teammate. Who's that went down soon after he got 1 down on the opposing side. Tyson mentality were able to pick that person back up and obviously move forward. But that's the point, is the fact that this is a very, very interesting match so far. They found another win for themselves. It's a matter of taking and using their teamwork. When they swung on Nemes, he was not expecting that. Soka, wow, he got brought down to no HP.
Oh my goodness, who's that? Does have a Mamba mastered because he's brought it out now. C4 to finish off that down that he just grabbed with those goggles out as well. 6 seconds, you got to make quick work of that ability and put it to good use very quickly now, because it can disappear. Look at this. Muscle Freak, no idea Tahola just left that spot. F22 playing a little bit of peekaboo here. But he gets bitten by the Mamba, and now who's that will close the jaw. You call it a jaw? Do snakes have jaws? Is that what you call it? The fangs get... the fangs pierce the skin, I guess you could say there.
I guess. Yeah.
I guess so. Sink in, or they pierce the skin. That's what it's looking like there. Soka, who's that? Nemes pushing in. All 4 members of the defense standing. This game is looking like it's over. Dallas way out of range of the bomb. That bomb's all the way in red, by the way. Doesn't have his ability. Doesn't have any throwables. Just that assault rifle in his hands. Sounds like he has padded steps as well. Shots coming out. Now they're all just going to look like a pack of raptors chasing down their prey. Game number 1, 8-3. Soka dropping 19 elims, 16 downs. Someone else on that team had 13 downs to their name as well. Couldn't catch that name fast enough. We need post-game scoreboards for the spectators. That's what we need, Scott. That's what we need. Yes, let's go ahead and take a look at the replays. Fawn, what'd you see in that game that was so successful for the side of SMCK?
Well, it was the draft at first, right? Those first few rounds, I mean, when you have a clutch like this, obviously, on the side of who's that, you're going to make sure that you end up winning that round. A clutch like that is not common, but when it happens, it pretty much secures the round. The draft, at the end of the day, though, is what I want to talk about. It's the fact they had that anvil, the fact they had that seeker. This is a great draft, both pre-plant and post-plant on the side of SMCK. Why? Because of the fact they have that anvil, because of the fact they have that fixer. You saw Fixer in the last highlight use his smokes a little bit early to try and cement their position to even plant it on site, because why? Anvil just got hacked. Glitch poses a significant threat to Anvil. He's able to counter that shield immediately since it goes away. I think the draft, even though you have that counter on the side of Glitch, there's too many people you have to be worried about. You got to be worried about the Saint. You got to be worried about the Talon. You got to be worried about the Fixer. And every time they had that bomb plant down, what did Fixer do? They played the clock so unbelievably well. Every single time he did this, thermal goggles. He threw down the smoke. You can't peek or challenge him there unless you obviously have another Fixer. And then that's the only way in which you can actually do that. And that's what I believe allowed SMCK to win that. I feel like the draft was just too different and too strong for Tyson mentality to be able to fight back against.
Yeah, I just love the adaptability, which I talked about that at the start of the game. The best teams find ways to adapt successfully. And they did that because on attack, they bring out the anvil and they say, okay, we're going to use this shield. We're going to plant the bomb behind it. But then on the other side, they have a glitch. They're taking care of that shield very early and using the incen on that little half barrier there. So you can't plant in either two primary plant position. So they had to adapt to that, and they did so perfectly. And that goes to say with what you said as well with the draft. I mean, they have talent, so they can flashbang plant. They can do that very well. They can smoke plant, not just with fixer smoke, but also with the smoke coming out from the side of Saint. So just beautiful, beautiful gameplay coming from them. We're going to Favelas for game number 2, and it is also King of the Hill. Once again, Tyson mentality falls short in game number 1. SMCK get the victory 8-3 in that game 1 demolition on lockdown. Now it's Favelas. Now it's King of the Hill. Now will we see Runway strutting her way into our first game here in our Road Cup series.
You have Scorch and Mac that are already banned out here as well. And this is an entirely different beast. It's not demolition like you mentioned before. It is King of the Hill. We have respawns that we have to be concerned about a lot more frequently now, right? So having those characters that allow for you to take those fights, that have good utility to be able to slow down the pace of the consistent firefights that you have in maps like in game modes like these is always something that's important. I believe Mac and Scorch both do that. Scorch purely because of the fact that she's going to win majority of the duels she takes with her ability, and Mac for that flashbang. It stalls things out a lot more frequently. It makes retaking a point a lot harder when you have to deal with a flash, when you have to deal with his guns. It makes it difficult. And having that utility is just a pain in the butt. So get rid of it and get rid of both of them.
I think the major reason why SMCK is banning out the Mac is because of Muscle Freak. That is a staple in this team's respawn strategy. We saw it last week. Probably we're going to see it again this week from this team if they didn't get it banned against them. But it's out. So what is Muscle Freak going to play? To me, when it comes to respawns, I've only seen him play one thing, and it's this. So right now he's a one trick to me. And when everyone, like Rome especially, is telling me this guy's a Mac, this guy loves Mac, he's going to bring out Mac, he's going to play Mac, and then he plays Mac, you're thinking, okay, what else does this guy play in this situation if Mac's not available? Well, now is the opportunity to show us what that is, because you have to. Mac's not in there. Also, this team, they love to run that Dahlia combo in a respawn onto the Mac. You got 2 people with armor that regens when they down someone, right? But the Scorch ban, I like the Scorch ban, because if you're going to bring out Runway, and you know that the other team's not going to ban Runway, if you are picking a Vi, which is available, and it's a power pick in respawns, she has an incen, and then you can bring out the Runway, and then you can bring out something else with an incen that's started to pick up its pick percentage in respawns as of lately, which is Dallas. Then you have 2 incens, and then you can keep supplying them with more incens with the Runway, so you can essentially have 4 incen grenades to throw on the objective, and you don't want someone like Scorch to be immune to all of that. And then even further, they can bring out a Dahlia and link to it and have 2 people immune to it, and your whole strategy is throwing as many incens as possible. So get rid of that, and then you can say, let's just burn them all. We'll see if that is their game plan or if I'm just making things up in my mind. But if we get to see the whole map on fire, I'd love it. Let's go ahead and jump in the game and see if things will be set ablaze.
Here we are on Favelas, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into this King of the Hill match. I'm interested to see the drives here, since Blue has talked up a storm about the implications of having multiple ensign grenades and makes it obvious. I mean, hey, maybe that is what they want to do. Maybe it's not what they want to do. We can see once we head into the draft right here. We have Vi, Lancer, Dima, Anvil. Anvil, Vi, Lancer. There's not even a Runway. That wasn't even a consideration. They locked all these characters in immediately.
We might still see it. I got faith in Muscle Freak.
Potentially.
Because, he plays Max, so he plays the characters that are new and are experimental, I guess you could say. Come on, let us see our first Runway here.
Well, it just depends.
I'm gonna bring out the Kestrel. Still a decent pick. I like the Vise and the Anvils coming out. Of course, those are staple power picks here in a respawns overall. And I wish Rome was here, because we get to see a Dima, and Soka was looking really good with the Mamba. You know who has a Mamba and doesn't even have to be given it? Dima. So we could see him come out with that Mamba as well. K30 also, I think, is a really good assault rifle, just a really good gun in the game now after this most recent patch as well. It got a little bit of love, although he is going to bring out that Mamba. And I love that he doesn't go with the grenade first. He goes with that EMP. So he's going to have a little bit of extra cash left over unless he upgraded it once already, because you get 13,000. You buy your primary for 8, you've got 5,000 left. You can go with the grenade for 5K, or you can go with the $3,000 EMP, and then it only costs $2,000 to upgrade it. So you can come out of the gates blazing, not with a fire grenade, however. And already,
my goodness,
speaking of fire, incense are coming out. That's coming from the Vi. Soka already with first blood. Let's go, Dima.
Already, you got 2 kills already put up onto the board. Make that 3. They've downed multiple and killed many. That's 3 that are currently respawning, and the point goes to SMCK. You have a lot of people that are posted up by Garage. Nimmy's already gets 1. Quinatic goes down 2. F22, Quinatic, both of them already taken out of the fray. He tries to climb up the rope, but it's not going to be there. He climbs up again. That was a warning shot. There's the kill. They get the down and take care of Muscle.
Look at this. I love it. He's got a K30 in his hands. I need to see if that's mastered, if he's not using the Nightshade, and he's changed it up. That's another thing. You can see a lot of people coming out. Nemis with the KA30 mastery there. And that's what I'm talking about. Already, we are seeing the weapon mastery play a massive part of the competitive scene. 2 games in, and we're seeing all of these meta changes where characters are even better with different weapons in their hands. We don't see a Riptide in Kestrel's hand either. KA30 and Mamba, those are the go-to, it's looking like here already, very early on in our new season of Road Company.
Team ability goes out. They managed to get the down available as well. There's another one. Soka finds one. Nimmy's gets taken down. You have multiple trades happening. The kills are checkerboarding, but still, SMCK are in the lead. They put down the ballistic shield as well. 48 to 34. They've got 34 seconds. If they maintain control, they're going to be looking. They're going to be sitting pretty in terms of having a point lead. They're already moving on to the next objective, though. They want to make sure that they can lock this down. Kestrel tries to move in. Maybe it might be a little bit too early. Who's that? Gets taken down, though. That might be a little bit bad. Halo drones goes out. They take care of Tahola as well. Now they're walking to the instant. There's a lot of fights that are happening here. They've already forced things out in their favor.
Wait, hold on, Fawn. We need to walk this back a few seconds here. Kestrel, before she walks into the objective, she picks up the extra cash on the ground, which is where the body was of the person that she just killed from behind the wall, pretty much, of the B hill. Did she only see the hair follicles? Hold on, oh my goodness.
Oh, frame by frame?
That was disgusting. As we see a replay of her just coming in with everything in her kit. I mean, maybe that's just the KA30 in this update. It is looking fresh. It's looking good. We see it in pretty much anybody's hands except for Dima at the moment. He has that gun naturally. But he elects to go with the Mamba, which I think is going to be the go-to DMR at this case. Look at Tahola with the Mastery shotgun. The TAC-12 in his hand. We need to go to Tahola. What is Tahola using? He's not the Vi.
He's the Envoy.
Also want to see how much... There's so much going on with just the weapon mastery and the way these players are changing up how they're playing. It's, you know, before weapon mastery, if someone got it down and we missed it or we didn't know what character they were playing at the moment, we can look in the kill feed and kind of guess it. But now, that is not even possible. Muscle Freak gets another one with that K30 in his hands. Oh, wait a minute. Anvil with the shotgun. He's playing on the objective, doesn't have the LMG. That shotgun is a weapon mastery change-up as well. He has the same shotgun as Scorch, which we talked about earlier as well, getting the nerf, kind of deleted the gun from the meta. He's electing to go with the shotgun you normally see with Vi or Sigrid.
Getting some good damage down as well. Picru, Soka, both of them trade one member of each other's opposing teams out for now. 38 seconds still remaining. This is the last hill available in the game. They've got 30 seconds as well. They've just now made it back onto the objective, SMCK. And here's what it is. This is a matter of retake now. If they stay on this point, they will cause overtime. And as long as they hold until they get at least 130 points, they can still win this round.
And look at this. Who's that? Getting 2 people rushing his face. Finally, he takes out 1. The other one goes down to his teammate, I believe. F22, though, making his way towards the objective, finds an Incen finish off, got someone else with the weapon in his hands, but Soka is going to work. He is putting out the damage, whether it be with that Merv launcher or just the Mamba in his hands. Who's that finds one with the Semtex. Sudden death now ticking away. 103 on the board for SMCK. They are not leading, and they've got to make a way to get everyone off of this objective. Coming in with the LMG in his hands, slaying anyone except for who's that. And now he's the only person alive on the objective. He's soaking up some points, but now the neutralize comes through. And now this is a little bit of a snowball effect here. They're walking in one by one, but it's working out for them. They are finding the kills. Muscle Freak finds one. He finds two. He finds three. Can he find the fourth? Yes, he can. Who's that goes down? Muscle Freak walking in.
He takes him out, and they clutch this round out as well. That was looking kind of spooky. I'm not going to lie to you. Tyson mentality. They had to make this comeback work for them. They were the ones in the lead the entire time, but such an amazing hold from SMCK means that this round goes to Tyson mentality. They had a great hold, but being able to get those kills the last few seconds was always extremely important. It was looking like they were holding on so strong. But now, maybe with that hold, maybe they figured out what it is they quite need right now. As everyone heads off to garage, same thing as before. This is what we've seen. First point to be spawned off available. This time we see Lancer going around, trying to set up for the flank. Who's that? Is the first one to go down, and nobody's touched the objective, even though they're hovering right in front of it. They're trying to win these early fights and engagements.
Yeah, we talked. I touched on adaptability in that first game. It's starting to look to be a massive part of the game for the side of Tyson mentality. You saw Dima. Soka was putting out so much damage, getting a ton of downs with that Merv launcher. This time around, though, they all get out of dodge when that comes through. Who's that, though? Finds F22. Soka helping him out with just a Mamba in his hands. They find some more downs. They get a little bit of garbage time here with about 20 seconds left on that last hill. It's been given up by Tyson mentality. They're moving towards this B hill now. And look at this positioning. EMP comes through. That's going to grab two of them. So now no vibe poisons or anything can come out from her. They're going to pounce on this third member here. Oh, and almost got him down, but P-Crew finds one. P-Crew finds two. P-Crew is alive and well.
It seems like for right now that they are in control of B site. Tyson mentality have gained control over the site. Great teamwork to make sure they overtook a couple of fights that were happening around the objective, but at the end of the day, they are the ones that secure this for themselves. Soka, Nimmy's, both of them find a kill apiece. First it was the Incen, then it was the Demonaze, the Merv launcher, the Mamba comes through. Muscle Freak gets down, and the same thing. Hey, they return the same treatment. They jumped this poor fool right here, Quanatic, sitting on point, vibing. No vibe zone, gets vibe checked. They take care of him, and now we're at 40 to 41 to 31.
Yeah, just sit on the objective. Even if you go down, your team's been wiped. Just try and neutralize as many points as possible. Even if it's for only 1 or 2 seconds, that's 1 or 2 points, and that can be a deciding factor here, especially when we know these teams could go to sudden death once again, like they did in the first round. Quanatic downing his own teammate, but then he makes up for it by walking in. Muscle Freak helping him out as well. Quanatic! I heard crouch spam was nerfed, but he doesn't care. He's still doing it, and it's working out for him. Puts the shield in the doorway, although not as perfectly as it could have been placed. Might be able to slip some throwables through the side and not just above that shield. Trying to take control of the spawns. This is massive for this third hill. If they take control of this back truck, the spawns could come in huge for the side of SMCK. They cannot allow them to take care of it. P-Crew goes down. They've got one member in the main door, and then in the back door, they've got people trying to come through. Soka has taken over that back spawn, and that is massive because now the spawns are coming through. Tahola's walking in with a shotgun, and he's taken over this garage with it. He puts his shield up on the other door, and now the only way in is the window.
Still moving in 30 seconds.
Seems like for right now, they are still maintaining control of that. Who's that goes down, and that's just the power of having that anvil. P-Crew, wait a minute, P-Crew.
Oh my, did you even see his
He
health
comes in and clears up the entire site? How many people was that? Was that,
wait
was
a
that
minute.
4? What
Like,
happened?
he had like 1 health
I'm
to his
doing-
name. He got 3.
That's what I'm saying.
The fourth
Like,
one,
he just moved in
the
and
fourth one
cleaned
was
house.
a finish on someone that, yeah, someone was already down, so that was the fourth. But oh my goodness,
Sheesh.
wow,
What else do you say about that?
P-Cruz.
Good job.
I mean, there's nothing else you can really say, right? We're at loss
Right.
for words for that
Exactly.
play, especially with the amount of health he had left. P-Crew, though, starting to make some plays here in the second round. The first round was all muscle freak for the side of Tyson mentality. Soka is still doing Soka things, it's looking like. Nemi's starting to step up here in this game as well. So he's gotten a few key picks himself with that K30 on the Vi that he's using. P-Crew gets stuck in the smoke, quick and quiet as well, but guess what? Doesn't matter if they can hear you because they can see you. Muscle Freak finds one, easily goes down afterwards to Tahola. You know, we're talking about all these players making huge plays. Tahola right up there with them with this shotgun in his hands. And I hate having to be the anvil or just the anchor. Because if that's your role in Respawn, especially King of the Hill, your job is to sit on the objective and just take all the punishment.
Suffer and break.
The cluster poison for now. They're cleaning up shop on what remains of the objective here. 10 seconds left. Now Tyson mentality. Now they're in a better spot than SMCK was last time. Who's that? Takes down P-Crew. He's already dead. Now they have to fight their way back onto the objective and back onto site to try and take this. Tyson mentality. They're getting good shots. Time is not on their side like it was with SMCK. It is not on their side. They managed to get one hit, but Nemis goes down. They still are in control of that. They find so many health bars low, but no one is quite taken out of the fray yet. That's another kill that ends up going down. They have to push on to the point. The contestant, and they already are. They have to take care of him, and they do. At the very last second, my goodness, 124 to 119 is how that round ends, but the match is still not over. We're tied 1-1.
Yeah, we're going to overtime here. It's gone to sudden death in both of those rounds as well. That looked a little bit easier in that sudden death, however, just because Tyson mentality wasn't down by as many points. You go back to round 1 SMCK, even when they did score a couple in sudden death, they were still down by 23 when it was 129 to 106. This time around, however, they were able to win the round without having to go to sudden death themselves, but it was pushed there by Tyson mentality. A quick little clear from Nemis, cleaned that up and finished it off. And now we see everyone rushing towards this first site. And look at this. He got there pretty quickly. Usually we see him get there when there's about 55, 50 seconds. Look at that nade from Soka. Nicely cooked. On the other side, however, Muscle Freak found with the bounce nade. F22 is still using that nightshade on his Vi and showing you that he can get the job done just as well. Who's that from behind? 1, 2. Can he make it 3? Yes, he can. Control of the objective as well.
For right now, they are at least getting some shots at the Muscle Freak. 7 to 17 so far. They get the down that they were looking for. They brought the health bar low, and then they finished the job. F22 rolls right on in, but the ensign not only prevents him from getting to that cover, but he's already open wide for everyone else on SMCK to load him up full of bullets. Soaking up like a bullet sponge, if anything. F22 does manage to get Who's That, but they still are in great control of the objective. They don't seem to have that good of a control over the next site, though. They're trying to push him in, and they fight him back. Muscle Freak gets downed. Now they can try and overtake the next site.
But you can tell this team in the SMCK, they know exactly what they need to do. Even if they don't rotate early enough to get the objective, they know where they need to go and what spawns to take over. They've done this for the second round in a row. They don't get the B site very early on in its spawn. You also, you know, they had to pick up a lot of garbage time on the A site, and then they just walk towards this back garage or this back parking lot area, take over it, and they have control of the spawns. They take out P-Crew. Tahola's on the objective once they gain control of this space, and then when they control this, they control the map pretty much. Look at the long spawns coming out from the side of Tyson mentality. They're going to have to just give this up with 30 seconds left. Maybe one last go at it before they have to head towards that C objective. They are losing right now with only 31 in their favor. 70 and climbing now, a 40-plus point lead coming out of SMCK. 15 seconds remaining on this third hill. Who's going to give it up first? Who's going to try and make this rotation towards the third hill? Muscle Freak finds Who's That, and look at like F22 is going to be the first person to the objective. Quinotic is there as well. but Soka is there to clean one of them up, and now they're pushing for spawns behind that black truck in the back of this C site.
The crew, I just don't know who's that. A Muscle Freak gets traded out. They've already taken control over the site. It's just a matter of Garage seeming to be one of the hardest sites for them to hold. I say that, and of course, Tyson Mentality are the ones that are still in control of that site. They've been struggling a little bit to hold this specific site. They've been doing well with making sure they were the first ones on site, but keeping consistent pressure is always the name of the game here, especially on King of the Hill. You always want to try and play a rightful way to retake, but at the same time, it can be difficult. But however, you use teamwork like this, maybe it's a little bit easier. They are fleshing them out. Cluster poisons, everything, the incense. So they get plenty. There's plenty of them to clean up.
Yeah, Soka finds another kill there. You know, he couldn't get in, so he just sat on the doorway, hitting anybody in the head that crosses his line of sight. He finally ends up getting taken out. Look at this, the shield blocking the door. Using a lot of effort to get this shield out of the way, but it is something you must do. Tahola's already on that objective. He's going to peek out. Doesn't know Lancer's ready and waiting off his left shoulder through that doorway where that shield was taken out.
Let's go.
Control of the objective has swapped over towards Tyson Mentality. They're now in the lead thanks to a massive amount of points they were able to pick up off that third hill. They played it very well, defended it nicely. Now coming from behind is Lancer, quick and quiet, working at its best. 1, 2, 3. Hello, P-Crew.
Yeah, a great lurk. Hey, that's the power of that active ability. You saw them flank all the way around. Nobody any the wiser. They get plenty of kills. Tahola, Nimis, they even get Soka. Like, everyone gets downed and taken out of that fray. That's a beautiful job and a great way to utilize that ability properly, I would say.
Yeah, buffing it to 14 seconds. What are you thinking, guys? That's insane. And it was already disgusting beforehand. Now it's just absolutely absurd. Quanatic does get the down. That's a little bit of a dangerous play, but the LMG wins the long-range battle there against the SMG from Lance. And Muscle Freak goes down. Soka finds one. Nemis as well. F22, however, kills his teammate with his incend, but it was worth it. He took out Nemis. Soka goes down as well. Tahola still on the objective with the S12 Tactical. Still putting in work. Still getting some points here.
Oh,
that is a defeat. He gets taken out. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Tahola, I was gassing him there, and he's not able to stay alive long enough. They take the shield out. They take him out. The time is out. The game is over. We're going to game number 3. But before we get there, we need to talk about this second game because it was a good adjustment in that second round coming out from the side of SMCK because they were able to win it. But as the replays will show, everyone from Tyson Mentality just played a little bit better towards the end.
And it's proper utilization of your characters, right? I mean, you have the Anvil, you have Vi, you've got Lancer, Kestrel. You've got great ways to flesh people out and off of the site that you're trying to retake. On top of that, we saw plenty of weapon masteries come through this game. It just proves how much crazier this game has gotten. You have to worry about characters having such great weapons. I mean, everyone's moving, dashing, dipping, dodging everywhere to make sure they can actually utilize these weapons, use their characters' abilities to the fullest, and it's working out. We see right here on the side of Who's That both of these teams were giving it their all this match, but at the end of the day, it's Tyson Mentality that take this game purely based off of how well they were playing throughout it. A great flank like this on the side of the crew means that you're going to be able to have a lot more comfortable time retaking site when you weren't even aware that somebody was behind you.
Listen, you know, we talked about this earlier as well. Practice, practice, practice it. Practice. We couldn't really tell who's practicing. Now we kind of can, right? Because if they've got a mastered gun that's gold in the kill feed, it means they're playing the game. And that's what you need to do. You need to practice. In order to practice, you got to play the game. So if we see anyone pulling out some mastery weapons, well, you know they've been playing the game as of recently. 6 days ago, that patch came out, and it is already a massive part of the competitive scene here. As we can see through 2 games, it's tied 1-1 between SMCK and Tyson Mentality. Lockdown was in favor of SMCK 8-3, but the respawn King of the Hill goes to Tyson Mentality. And, Tyson, he didn't get knocked out early, and they are not looking to be knocked out early here in this tournament as well. They win that King of the Hill 2-1. We're going to Canals. It is Demolition. Obviously, SMCK might have the upper hand because they played better in the Demolition in game number 1. But now, with that confidence, that morale boost coming into this game, because you're able to win the game before it, you got to be feeling good if you're Tyson mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you lose 8-3 on Lockdown Demolition, and then you bring it back in a very convincing fashion on Favelas 2-1. I mean, you have to be feeling yourselves after that one. I mean, you were down and out, or you were down but not out after the very, very first game, and you guys proved that on the second one in Favelas. And like you said, and right there up on the screen, we're heading to Canals. We're heading to another demolition map, excuse me. And Canals is one of those interesting demolition maps too, because I've seen so many unique strategies come out here. I've seen a lot of different utilization of different characters, of different rogues. And one of those characters it is that I would imagine that we see here is actually Seeker. I've seen Seeker a lot on this map. I've seen him utilized quite consistently because of his arrow, because of the way how he can gain that intel, not so much as talent, not so much as Dallas, but there's a lot of corners it is that you can play around. Overtaking those bomb sites, having intel that Seeker can provide is always important.
All right, so I'm going to go out on a limb here, okay?
Okay. All right.
What is massive on this map? It's Ronin and Glitch. Here's the predicament, right? If Ronin gets banned, we can still see Glitch come out. But if Glitch gets banned, right? So like if you and I are the team captains and we're banning against each other, and you're banning first, Fawn, right? And you're like, okay, we ban Glitch. I'm picking Ronin. Right? I can't be seen by anyone but Glitch. I'm picking Ronin. But if you ban Glitch, I know you want to go Ronin. So I'm going to ban out Ronin, which leaves Runway open, baby. Also leaves Talon open on this map as well. That's something that can come into a huge play as well. Let's see what the bans are. They're going to be on screen. It's Glitch Ronin. We can see a Runway here in Demolition. Yeah, let's go.
You're right.
Man.
Right.
You know how many times I'm told that I don't know what I'm talking about out here, man. Come on. Glitch, Ronin, ban on Canals. Let's see the Runway, baby. We didn't see it in the respawn. It was available. Will we see it in Demolition? It was banned in our first Demolition. So I've got a good feeling about this. But, hey, we never know. That's what we're going to have to wait and see. We're jumping into game number 3. For those of you who are just joining us, we are going to a game 3 of our quarterfinals matchup between SMCK and Tyson Mentality. Tyson Mentality was able to even the score out after winning the King of the Hill. And oh my goodness, was that a game to see. Fawn, what are you expecting to see here in Canals now that we know the bans? Obviously, you think there's going to be a Seeker. I think there's going to be a Talon. I think Talon is a little bit better when it comes to the intel on this map because there's so many places. There's so many locations, little nooks and crannies. You can put that dart, and it can't be seen. It can't be shot. And a Glitch would have to hack it, but that's not going to happen because he's out. And also, Fawn, you can fully commit 3 people on defense towards that B site right off the bat, right off that plane jump. Because Town can go towards A by himself, throw the dart on a certain wall, and tell you if they're pushing that way or not.
And I think that's what's so interesting about not only the characters it is that you see on this map, but more so the utilization of these characters. Because like you mentioned, like Talon is something it is that you expect to see. I still expect to see the Seeker. Anvil obviously is one of those characters that we have seen so many times, and it doesn't even have to be Canals, right? He's just a great character to be able to use, whether it's on attack or on defense, using it on attack to make sure you can plant down that bomb, having a great pre-plant and post-plant strategy just off of that barricade alone is already something that's really, really good. I hope we see the Runway this match, because I would imagine that maybe it had a little bit more to do with the sort of respawn capabilities that they would have to be more concerned about on the side of Favelas when they were playing with Favelas. But with Demo, I think this could play a very, very huge role, because having that extra utility, having that ammo, that's going to be huge, especially when it comes to taking sites and playing post-plant. You can utilize that so well.
Yes, I mean, I'm just thinking through my head right now. You're playing with Runway on Demolition. You plant the bomb. Team is trying to come in. and they're trying to defuse the bomb. They can have an anvil shield go up. I don't care because I throw an incense with like a Dallas or a Vi or a Scorch, anything that can bring that incense to the table. And then they're going to wait for that incense to go out. And then you're like, you know what? Hey, I've got another one, baby. There's people who've been waiting for the last 15 seconds of the bomb timer. Throw that incense and you're like, we got it. Let's go. Now you can do that for even longer, double the amount of time because of runway. That's what she can bring. She can also load up someone on smokes like a Dahlia or a Saint, and they can just smoke out everything, right? Imagine a Dahlia coming in with a trench, whether it's on defense or attack, and you have a runway as well, and she goes ahead and throws out 3 smokes because she's linked with the passive from trench. She's got double smokes, adds another one, that's 3, and then picks up another 3 or 2, whatever it gives her out of the runway ult. Oh my goodness, a clam bake would be in session, to be exact. Let's go ahead and jump into this game and see exactly if we're going to see runway or not.
Let's head right on in. This is it. The very, very final game of this set. There will be one victor that moves on to our semifinals here as we watch Canals on our final map of this best of 3. And I'm interested to see who's going to be locked in here. It is Anvil. It's Talon, just like you were mentioning. Anvil goes without saying. Talon, to your credit, Blue. Dallas. And Dahlia is being hovered. And still not even a whiff of runway. Not even a peep. Dang. Yeah, not even there.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I think if you bring in runway, you swap it out for either Dallas or Talon. You want to have that anvil for the shield plant. You want to have Dahlia, obviously, to keep your planter alive. And also, she has the smokes out of this composition. She's the only one with it if you are going to elect to use those. On the other side, though, for defense, we have an anvil to match it, a Dahlia to match, a Talon to match as well. But they won't bring out a Dallas. Instead, they're going to bring out a fixer. So still no runway. Woo, someone's got some stick drift happening here. Who's that? It's stiffened to the left there. That's how you know your dead zones are broken on your controller and you need a new controller. For those of you who don't know, if that happens, you put your controller down and it moves like that by itself, that stick dead zone is donezo.
That's right now, gliding right on in. Here we go. Match already started. Rounds already beginning. Everyone's heading off to their places. And you have both A and B side covered. With Talon being here as well, that intel is going to be huge, especially since it seems like they're full on committing to the A side right here. Not even stopping.
Yeah, it's pistol round. You can go towards this A site pretty easily as the attackers, which it looks like they are gaining a lot of space there. If they do have a smoke, possibly they elected to buy that with the Dahlia round 1, then they're only going to have one of them. She's got to make some plays. They've got to get a bomb planted just so she can get some money here. Quinatic, excuse me, going for that bomb plant. Tahola playing off double box. C4 comes through. That won't do anything. Now he's going to have Nemis with them as well, but it is Dahlia and Talon off to the left. In a short, Quinatic goes down. Bomb's still not planted, and shield got taken out. They did enough damage on that with just pistols in their hands. F22 with a little quick strike. A little bit of help from Dahlia's pistol as well. And now it looks like they're just going to full commit towards these people. They're stuck behind Orange Barrier, but the revive came through. Who's that? Is able to find Muscle Freak as well. And everything's falling apart for the attackers. Only 2 standing.
Yeah, they tried to push in a little bit too aggressively. I mean, I know what they were trying to go for, but if there was a time where they would have needed to do it, it would have been when that first initial down happened. That's probably the only thing it is that I can say about that, because that's what sort of shifted it into SMCK's favor. I think Tyson mentality had great downs there. They had great positioning. It was just a matter of when they chose to go in, and I think them going in at the wrong time was the problem there. If they would have went in after they got that down, if they both would have just committed to the push, that would have been a different story. You would have caught one of the teammates trying to pick up the other one, trying to go for that revive. And that's huge, because that's only a 1v2, and it doesn't matter if they even get the trade. They can't get both of you purely because of the fact of where they are positioned. And you can use cover, you can use a lot of different things to make sure that you live, and at least one of, at the most, maximum, only one of you goes down during that engagement.
Dahlia electing to go with the DMR primary weapon in the second round. Probably didn't have enough money for Lifeline and just said, you know what? Forget it. Let me grab a gun at least, see what if I can get Lifeline in the next round, maybe get a down or two and win the round. Nemi's getting a couple shots thrown at him. He's in the orange tunnel. Tahola's playing in the same spot. Nemi's trying to make his way back towards that spot as well. He fell pretty low. Tahola is on Dahlia and near, so that revive could potentially come into place as well. C4 comes out. That's going to kill yourself. It gets shot.
Yeah.
Soka shot it.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. What a play by Soka.
Man.
Recognizing that the C4 was thrown, and if it was detonated, it would have killed Soka and the person who threw it. So the person who threw it on attack didn't want to take that, then elects to go back to pick it up, and then it gets shot. Nice job from Soka. High IQ plays coming out from him today.
Yeah, that is some next level awareness that you would need to have to even think of utilizing C4 in that way, and it's paying off. Now we're looking at a 4v3, but it's the matter of what they are holding that makes this an issue for Tyson mentality to make it on. They know Nimmy's is there to try and get the trade, but it's not there either. They just want to find good damage. They want to bring somebody low enough so that way they can make their way onto site. 8 seconds still remaining. One of them crosses over, but it's going to be hard, man. Like, they try and swing this corner, they go for the plant, but even still, it's even more of a problem because they just get cleaned up. They filter it onto site, and that's going to be all she wrote for this round. That is another one in the back for SMCK.
Yeah, that one was not looking so good from the attackers. They kind of went towards a rotation onto the B site, and then they kind of forgot that they left A open, and they were just looking forward the whole time as if the defense would go from the back of A to the back of B and not flank around and take the attacker side of the B in the map, and that's exactly what happened. They pinched him with a little 2-2 action. Bomb got planted, but it was kind of a too little, too late bomb plan as we saw that C4 being shot in that instant replay once again by Soka. Oh my goodness. Looks even better the second time around. Been loving the instant replays we're getting from production here in the last couple of weeks. I think this is week 3 of us being able to use them during the games, not just after. It was awesome when we brought them in after the game. We get to see the replays from the previous game, but now that we get to see these instant replays happening during the game, I think it just adds to that production value. So shout out to our production team out there. I know they work hard behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Gotta give credit where credit is due, man. I mean, working production, as long as you work it and as hard as you have to work, is no easy task. And so it takes a village to be able to run a show like this. So congratulations and great job from everybody on production, honestly, man. We would not be able to do it without you. So right now, it seems like Muscle Freak are trying to take some earlier fights. Who's that? He's waiting around the corner. He gets brought low, but he's still not out of it, the fray yet. This is, I don't even think you go here, man. I think you just get, I think you go somewhere else. I think you have an easier time pushing in. Oh, never mind. I mean, I guess you push in and get the kill then.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one took over mid-cut from the attacking side yet. That was the problem. They can't push B long without that control because then they just get swarmed and then you get shot in 2 different directions. Now they've isolated one. They find another one. Can he turn and get this third one? No, he cannot. Soka's still playing in mid-cut. You know what I love from Nemes, by the way, is he put a trophy further up in B long that stopped anything being thrown at him at the beginning of this round. That was massive. Usually you see them place it where they're standing on the back of that B site. Smoke comes out. Talon can't see through it, however. Bomb still not planted. Soka playing the patient game coming from mid-cut. Finds that last kill. Boom! A third round for the side of SMCK here on Defense Fawn. We said this was a defender-sided map.
Yeah, this is a way more defense-sided map, I would say, but it's looking a little bit difficult right now for Tyson mentality. I mean, they've been able to push on and make a couple kills here and there, but it's still even looking rough. Actually, as a matter of fact, can we see the scoreboard real quick? They're at least able to make a couple kills. I'm not even too sure if they've... Yeah, never mind. I guess I was right. Literally a couple kills. But Crew has the most out of all of them. He has 2 downs,
Listen,
2
Soka
eliminations.
Has... Yeah, Fawn, sorry to cut you off there, but to do your quick math,
No,
Soka has more kills than the enemy team. Well, now he's tied.
No, yeah, no, you're entirely right. I thought it was only a couple kills, and I was correct on that statement. They were only able to make a couple kills on their pushes, as 3 rounds have already passed by, and I don't agree with the push here. I think it's too hard. I don't think they have the utility to be able to clear that. Most of the time, they're just running in and just getting smoked. There's not much they can do about that, right? Like, they are at least able to get Soka in mid, but it's a matter of trying to overtake these sites. They have a numbers advantage now, so maybe it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, like you said, they're getting smoked. That's exactly what happened to their Dahlia, by the way. She got destroyed in that B-long. F22, however, takes out Tahola. Tahola, I want to touch on him for a second here. 0 downs, but he's got a couple assists, only 1 revive, but he's putting himself in a position where he is keeping Nemis alive if needed, and that's important because that's your shield for the defuse potential there. But you go back to game 1, Saint, he was playing. He had massive revives that came in clutch, allowed them to win out some rounds because of it. And then he had to play sort of the anchor utility role on the King of the Hill. They didn't end up winning that game, but he was doing a lot of work. It came down to him being the last man standing, and he was all alone behind his shield. But a lot of players, they don't get credit like Tahola and all those other players that have to play the sit back and protect your teammates kind of support role, or the guys that just have to be the bomb plants and go out there and get everything thrown at you. I mean, imagine having to be the anvil on attack right now. Everything's getting thrown at you when you are trying to plant the bomb. Like, you just want to do your job, right? You just want to do your job. And they're just throwing everything at you.
Oh, he tries to use the smoke, but it gets APS.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That trophy is up there on kind of that L bend right there from the Nemis on the defender side. He's placing that there every time. Off plane, he just rushes there and gets it. Soka puts one into the head of P-Crew. He's in the water. He's not even going to elect to try and jump back up. Bomb still hasn't been planted. This has been a problem all game.
I mean, Soka getting that kill though is huge because that means that he has mid control. He can go as he wants to, and the members that are pushing up on the side of Tyson mentality now have to readjust their game plan. They have to think differently. They have to either back off or try and commit to this plan, which seems like that is what they will do. They get the barricade down, and they get the bomb down as well, but they have a numbers advantage on the side of SMCK. I would be concerned if I were you, and that's exactly why. They get the trade, 2 members are down, but at least they got the Dahlia to be able to pick one of them, get both of the anvils back up.
Yeah, there's the clam shield coming in, and that's going to allow them to just get the bomb defused. Didn't really matter. They had control of everything. Yeah. Who's that going berserk with the Mamba on Fixer once again today?
Never felt more safe seeing 2 barricades. Just enclosing gently that bomb and the anvil that's in between the both of them, right? I mean, like, that is about as snug and as comfortable as you can get. That is genuinely about as good of a defuse as you can have. They were able to get the bomb plant down, like I mentioned before, but it was that numbers advantage that played a huge role into that, right? Because they had the Dahlia, they have both Dahlias obviously linked to the anvil, but you res one Dahlia, you res one anvil, and it's a 4v3. You res one animal on the other side, and it's still a 4v3, right? You're not going to change the numbers there. It's not going to make the fight more even. You already lost to Dallas a little bit early. Because of them being able to get that kill, because of P-Crew being able to get that kill, it made it a lot, P-Crew dying, it made it a lot more difficult for them to try and push in. But my goodness, they what a great distraction. They all push B and instead plant the bomb on A. P-Crew just walks right onto site, gets a great plant, and now he can back off.
Wow. Tahola must have heard me saying he's got 0 downs. Now he's getting very aggressive with it on the defensive side. Finds one. P-Crew, however, does get Soka, but Soka's going to get revived pretty easily, too, from Fixer. You can see them rotating through mid-cut onto this A site. Something got destroyed. I think it was a flashbang from a trophy on that A short. Little hallway as well. Smoke's coming out. Grenade's going to push them into the eyes of who's that on the left. He finds one, second one with the C4. and they cannot get rid of that shield in quick enough time. It's 5-1 now. The defenders holding strong.
One more round. I mean, this is the round where the half switches. This is the round where you've got to be a little bit more careful and at least try and see if you can make things 2-5 on the side of Tyson mentality. They'll have they'll have more of an upper hand once they swap to the defensive side, but it's a matter about it's them needing to understand how SMK are playing this game, is recognizing that and adapting. And it doesn't seem like they're doing that quick enough. This is the same thing that we saw in the very beginning on the other demolition map. They did great on the respawn map. They did great on favelas. But it's these demolition, these more long con sort of games, not having the respawn timers there, that makes it hard. And it doesn't seem like they ever adapt in time. Hopefully that changes.
Soka, very early on in the round, bomb got dropped because, well, the guy holding it got taken out. Soka, he pushed up even further this time. He didn't wait for F22 to kind of get his position in mid-warehouse or in that cut on the B side, excuse me. Instead, he just pushed up through it. He noticed no one was there with his dart, so he said, you know what, I'm going to try and get a little sneak down here. They do get the revive, but that delays their push and gives away where they are and what site they're trying to push into. Trophies on both sides, it seems, from these anvils here. And look at that. Trophies in the same spot. That's the fourth round in a row that's been there. You have to account for that at this point, or at least buy a melee to throw it over there. If you need your grenade and your smokes and you can't risk losing them, you've got to find a way around that trophy. Melee could be the answer. If you don't want to spend the 5K on it, then you've got to try and throw it high enough to where it doesn't get it.
Right. That's the point, though. Throwing it any higher than where they would need it to cross is going to be the issue here. They get steamrolled the instant that round even deals with the firefight. The minute they even go toe-to-toe or blow for blow, they end up getting wrecked. And that's 6-1 at the end of the first half. Now, Tyson mentality, they've got plenty of opportunities still to be able to make this comeback. This is a more defense-sided map. Like I said before, it is a matter of understanding. Even though you lost the half, even though the lead is large, you have to be able to understand and recognize what is going wrong here. Once you do, these maps become a lot easier. And I've seen Tyson mentality do this before. They did it on lockdown. They were able to get a few rounds. Doesn't matter how wide of a gap the score was. We see them being able to adapt to these situations. But they aren't quite able to do it right now, just as like how we saw on favelas.
We are swapping over to the second half here. 6-1 lead from SMCK. This is game number 3. That's the good news is they're winning 6-1, right? They have a nice lead, 2 rounds, and they push themselves into the semifinals. The bad news, I would say, well, I guess depending on how you look at it, is they have to go against just us in the next round, right? That's their semifinals matchup. From the winner of this is who they will be facing. But, however, you got to kind of look at that. If you're one of the teams that has to face them, look at it in a positive way. Like, hey, they lost last week, you know? Maybe we can be this week's David versus Goliath, and we want to come out as the victors. However, they're moving towards the A site this time around. First time attacking from SMCK. They have the anvil on attack as well, but no anvil on defense coming out from Tyson mentality. Second demo game today. They have done this.
For right now, things are already starting off with a bang. F22, Muscle Freak, they managed to work together to get the kill on the Nimmies. Now, they're worried about the numbers disadvantage they already have. They get rid of that barricade, too. This is already looking pretty rough. 2 of them are already playing back for the rotation. They see that they did indeed leave. And Soka is already there. They throw out the radar dart just to see if they can scan anybody on the way in. And they get the bomb planted immediately. Soka, going off by himself, gets that bomb planted, but also gets down in the process. Now it's a 2v4. This is going to be extremely hard.
Wow, who's that? Takes out Quinotic. He does end up going down to F22, however. Bomb just under halfway through that timer. Dahlia, the only one standing here for the defense, does take out Muscle Freak, but ends up going down. Tahola couldn't hold out against the 1v3. The bomb gets defused. What I really like from the defense is they did everything they could to not allow that easy bomb plant behind the shield. They insend the shield right away. That pushes him back. And then they use a C4 just to confirm that kill, so the Dahlia link can't keep him alive. But you do have Soka on the Talon, picked up the bomb from a distance and safely. They rotated, they planted it. They did that much right. They just couldn't hold it as effectively. Nice little retake there from the defense, especially when it was a 3v4 going into that engagement because the previous down and kill confirmed on that. Well, Nemi's playing the Anvil. Now they're going to be going towards this B site. Doesn't look like Anvil has a primary weapon. He went down very early. Bought a trophy as well. Soka, oh my goodness. If he even sees a blink of space, he takes it. Tahola finishes off Muscle Freak there. That is the Dallas. Interesting to note, they have a Kestrel instead of an Anvil, and she is the link up for the Dahlia. Drones come in, but he's already out of there. See you later, Who's That says. Quanatic also found a double himself. Who's That, the only member standing here. The attack not looking good from either side today on this map.
I'm going to be honest with you, Blue. I don't understand all the rage behind pushing on this B site. If anything, if you are going to try and commit to this B site, if you are going to want to try and push, you can always do it off of rotation. You can also force out a lot of utility and then move to A. I'm seeing both of these teams, both Tyson Mentality and SMCK, both of them completely and utterly not going for rotations. They've gone for the fake out before. We saw in the previous round they were able to get the bomb down when Tyson Mentality weren't the ones defending. We saw them push in. We saw them give the bomb to Dallas. He goes all the way over onto A side while everyone else is pushing B just to cause a distraction. They get the bomb plant. But that's not the only way in which you can actually do that. They are consistently trying to commit. And I think that it's weird that they're doing that, in my opinion, because I know that there's plenty of time for them to be able to back off and go for a different opportunity. But they just aren't doing it. They aren't taking that.
I mean, most of the time we see teams go towards this B site, so it is very popular among the two here. Sometimes it's not as successful. Soka, nice shots onto Quanatic. He has to kind of back up and regroup himself. Nemes falls once again. That's massive. That's your bomb carrier and your Anvil. But the Dahlia revive will be coming through, and Who's That's in mid. They allowed him. Nice pushback on the Dahlia and the Talon there in mid. That allowed Who's That to take that space, and now they control it. They're pushing them towards the back of their own spawn. And now Muscle Freak's in trouble. He does have some help with the line of sight. 1, 2. Let's go. Quanatic with the double down. Has the Mamba in his hands, but now they have to back up. Who's That? Oh my goodness. Quanatic just did that.
Wow, man. What a great hold on the opposite side of Pier right there. I mean, you sit there. He is chilling, looking pretty. Not a single care in his mind. He's got talent to back him up as well. Both of them are peeking, swinging, and making sure they are getting those kills. I'm floored by that performance, honestly. I mean, a great rotation and great positioning from Dahlia just to make sure they get those kills and get those downs. They do it. They take care of it. They dust their hands off, and now here we are, 4-6.
Yeah, that's just a great play from Dahlia and Talon there. They got pushed out of mid, and instead of trying to recommit themselves into it, they said, let's just back up. They might push Muscle Freak, and then Muscle Freak became their distraction. It worked out well for him. Nice little triple dink with the Mamba for Quanatic. So we can see they are moving towards this B site. Once again, trying to find out some intel is Soka with that dart. Now is what I'm talking about. Being able to put that in spots where you can't shoot it unless you want to die.
I'll find
and
you.
There's no glitch who can take care of it. So you just got to deal with it. You just got to say, okay, they seen me on the radar. Here they come. Bomb has been planted behind the Anvil shield. Incend came out. Trophy went down. That is his second trophy. First one already destroyed something. Someone, being P-Crew, is just playing around on top of Propane, seeing what he can see as well as draw someone out. Nice double knock from the nade to Hola.
Man.
Oh, but someone's already
What
there.
a nade.
Soka was holding it.
What a nade.
And come on, walk into it. Or excuse me, Talon on the other side. Who's that? Finds Quinatic, gets finished off. P-Crew turns the corner. He goes down, but he finds one on the Soka as well. Only one member standing for Tyson mentality here. Can they defend this bomb?
Crushed us. Fight harder next
Wow, man. Man, oh man. Here we are, 7-4. We are on set, match point, game point. Like, this is it for SMCK. They win this, and they move on to the semifinals bracket. That seemed probably the easiest I've seen SMCK take site as a whole throughout this entire set. I mean, most of the time they've been playing on defense, but Tyson mentality have been doing a great job of making sure that they have kept a lock on B. And it's been working. They've been holding it down, they've been locking it down, but that last round, they just sort of walked on the site, anviled down, and that's just how it was. I'm not sure if mid and the person watching A are too far away for them to be able to rotate in time, or if they just weren't quite ready for that. But I saw P-Crew having to back up. He had to play so far back just to make sure he didn't die, and they conceded site. After that, it was curtains. I mean, they have an anvil. It's going to be hard to break through that.
Couple grenades going back and forth. Nice flashbang as well. That did hit someone, but they're not going to push onto that. Incense already came out from the defensive Dallas as well. So now they know, okay, they don't have an Incense. We can shield plant or we can rotate. Rotate might be the idea coming through for the attackers as well. And that just might be it. This is what you've been asking for, Fawn. Little rotation towards this A site in the middle of a round from the attackers. Shield goes down because there's no Incense. They can get a free shield plant. Finally, they're able to take out the shield. They don't have one of their own, so they're going to have to push through inside the ship, take care of these kills. At least get 2 to 3 of them and have some members of your team still alive to push into those last 1 or 2 so that someone can defuse the bomb. Smokes come out. Looks like someone may be on it.
Oh, no. They do manage to get one down so far. There's not too much of an issue. They're trying to see if they can fire into who's that, but they push him up the staircase. He's already holding that angle. It's going to be a lot harder for them to fight that. Does he win this? Tahula manages to live for just a split second. This is a 1v1. Tahula's already low at F22. He manages to get one, but they get...
Oh no, the bomb goes off!
Because of the Dahlia. It was the Dahlia. The Dahlia picks up Nimmies in just enough time. My goodness, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'll tell you this right now.
That's wild.
If Muscle Freak on Dallas was using the Riptide or any other AR besides the one he was using, because that clip is so small, he would have gotten all 3 of those kills. He ran up the stairs. He killed 1. He killed 2. By the time he was shooting Dahlia, he ran out of ammo when she was 1 shot, and Taholo was able to down Muscle Freak. Muscle Freak's using a different AR with just a tiny bit more ammo or a mag addition for an upgrade. All 3 of them are going down. That revive on Anemies is not happening. They're winning that round with a bomb defuse. Great play from F22 to kind of do as much as he could. But again, Tahola, I just said it a few rounds before that. He had some clutch revives in that first demolition we saw from them today. Now we're going to see it again. Let's take a look at these replays. Hopefully that's one of them towards the end there. Tahola, man, I mean, he gets killed in the first replay we show, but he made some incredible plays with that last one being the biggest.
Yeah. That literally won them the entire set. I mean, that is... For him to be able to get off that ability before he goes down, I mean, that is like... That literally wins them the entire game. That wins them the entire set. And as we go through the replays here, we see them on that tear. We see SMCK really putting on the hurt, man, and utilizing their knowledge, their perspective, their game sense, and a lot of these demolition matches. Now, Favelas was probably I can't even say it was Favelas. It was King of the Hill. King of the Hill was their least favored game mode to play because Demolition, both times, they've looked great. They've looked phenomenal. They've looked wonderful to be able to play on both those Demolition maps, on Lockdown and then finish it off on Canals. It is a matter of adaptation. While Tyson Mentality had great plays and obviously a good mindset to be able to pack as much of a punch as they did on Favelas, at the end of the day, it still did not cover up or hold up to Demolition, because that's where it really started to hurt them. And I think that is more so a matter of them learning or them trying to understand more about what Demolition has to offer, because that's crazy for them to do so well on Favelas and then just seem to fall short when I know that they absolutely can do it. We've seen them pull several rounds. I mean, the score was 4-8. Sure, it ended only with 1 point more than what the very first Demolition ended on, which was 8-3. We ended on 8-4, but even still, we know that they can do it. We've seen the adaptation, we've seen the mindset, the game plans that they've had before, and it just didn't end up going well for them. It just didn't end up suiting them.
Yes, another game goes in favor of SMCK. It is game number 3, the deciding factor to push them into the semifinals. They win it on Canals 8-4. And I'm glad that we're getting some long games here today. I'm glad that I get to play I get to watch some people play some Road Company. I'm glad I'm here with Fawn because, the Browns blew a 19-point lead, so I do not want to go to family dinner today. My mother would probably be insanely angry. We might need some Road Company action. We might need our tournament to be on the next 18 Sundays in a row here in case they go 0-18 or 0-17, because it's not looking good already. Blowing big leads. But hey, you know who didn't blow a lead? SMCK. They will be going to the next round with just us, Roco. On the other side of the bracket, though, fighting for a chance at the finals and for their go at a top seed, I guess a top 4 seed, since today would be the 3rd and 4th seeds going into our main event, of course, is Corrupted Minds and Dr. Hop Billy, which is a combination of the names of the 4 players on that team, by the way. You got Doctor from Drew, the DR, you got Hop from Hoppies, you've got Bill from Billiams, and then E from Ethan. So we might get to see that team make it to the finals, or it could be Corrupted Minds. But coming up next, Justice Roco versus SMCK. All that after the break.